Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanso, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we'll give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, we got a slate of shows in store for you guys here today that you definitely don't want to miss. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's get into today's topic here. Scottie Pippen. The man, the myth, the legend. Scottie Pippen is back in the news again. And he just delivered a bombshell interview with Patrick Bet-David on Valuetainment / the PBD podcast. So what happened yesterday, some of the videos, some of the clips from the interview were being suggested to me. So I was watching one clip, then watching the other one. Then I came across a particular clip. And it was talking about Then I went to the full interview on the PBD podcast channel. So as I'm listening to this interview, there are different points in the interview where they talk about different things. And they get to the part where they're talking about his relationship with Michael Jordan. And if you know anything about Patrick Bet-David's interview style, he's very analytical. He's very methodical with the way he asks his questions, and he really tries to go layer by layer by layer by layer to get as much information as he can out of the guests that he's interviewing. So it got to the point where they were talking about Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. Obviously, we know the fallout that took place after the Last Dance docuseries. We have covered that extensively. There's even been some subsequent information that came out when people like Stephen A. Smith revealed that the relationship between Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan is completely over. There is no more relationship. So we know that. We know the backdrop of this relationship here. Now, Patrick Bet-David is interviewing Scottie Pippen. I think is important because it kind of gives insight to why he's asking these type of questions and why he's trying to dig so deep to get more information. Patrick Bet-David is asking these questions and interviewing Scottie Pippen from the standpoint of an NBA fan, okay, that follow the league, that follow players like Scottie Pippen. So he has a keen interest in these stories. So that's the reason he keeps asking him more and more and more questions. So they're talking about the relationship between himself and Michael Jordan. Even as I'm watching it, Scottie Pippen starts to reveal things that, like, him and Michael Jordan were never friends. They never hung out together after games. Hell, they never even had a dinner together. And I'm like, wait, what is going on here? And Scottie is basically revealing everything. And as he's talking, it's beginning to crystallize some of the fogginess around some of the actions that he was taking after the last. Because we're like, but I thought these guys were cool. Every time you see them on footage together, they seem to be friendly. So why all of this? And Scottie Pippen just basically let it loose and basically said, look, me and MJ were never, ever friends. So what I want you guys to do is sit back, get your popcorn, and listen to Scottie Pippen reveal everything about the relationship or lack thereof between himself and his former teammate, Michael Jordan. Take a listen to that there.
And then you saw one with Magic and Isaiah. I don't know if you remember those interviews that they did like 10 years ago, something like that, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. It was great to see Shaq and Kobe together. It was great to see
awesome.
Isaiah and Magic together, where Isaiah got emotional and he got up and they hugged each other, and you know that whole thing with the two of them. Why is the tension so high with anything related to Michael? You and Michael, Barkley and Michael.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just think that Michael is a very difficult person to deal with. I played with him for years, so I know that, when it's time for you to move in your direction, then go in your direction. Don't sit there and try to procrastinate or stretch it. That the relationship is not where it was or not what it used to be, and it's never going to be the same. So why try and make something out of nothing, or try to make something that was never there? So,
yeah.
Great teammate, but we just never were great friends.
Never, even when you guys played.
No.
So when you guys were at the Dream Team, that one clip when Ahmad Rashad asks and says, you know which one I'm talking about, when Ahmad says, hey, Michael, question for you. 3 seconds left, fourth quarter, who do you want to get the ball to go shoot whatever? And he says, me. You know which clip I'm talking about? He says, Ahmad Rashad. And he says,
Yeah.
no,
kinda.
you. He says, yeah, what kind of a question is that? And then you guys are getting off the bus. He says, Scott, this is the one right here. I don't play the clip. Actually, you know what? You may be able to play the clip. Yeah, play the clip here. Do we have audio or no, Rob? 'Cause I can't hear that. Back up a little bit.
Dumb question. Who would take the last shot?
Me.
That's a dumb question.
Me.
So, and then if you want to pause it, and this is, I think it's the right moment while you guys are getting off the bus and saying, where's Scottie? We got to go play golf. Where's Scottie? I think he's having a conversation. Did you guys golf a lot together or no?
Never.
You guys never golf?
No.
So who was he talking about to go golf with him, Rob? Wow, you guys never golfed together.
No.
So when you guys played together, how often was it for you guys to have dinner together?
I mean, we may have like a pregame meal or something like that, but it's always a big party of people.
How many times did just you and Michael have dinner in Chicago? Chicago has a lot of great... Scottie, stop it. Scottie, stop it.
Never.
You and Michael never had dinner together one-on-one?
No. Never.
Michael's house just sold, the one in Chicago,
Yeah.
right? I think it sold for like $9.6 million or some number like that, if I'm not mistaken. We like the house. We were interested, but possibly doing something with that because of the history in it. How often did you guys hang out in that house, go shooting, basketball, talking, mentally getting ready for the playoffs?
I never shot basketball there. I actually would go over in the morning when Grover was training. We would train together.
Scottie, can you get the mic a little bit closer?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was actually, I would train with Michael. I guess the last 3 championships that we won, we trained together at his house. But other than that, we didn't really put a lot of time in away from basketball. Most of our time was spent, whether we were working out or on the practice floor.
That's so wild to me because, that feedback was given sometimes about Kobe. That Kobe wasn't a guy that hung out with his teammates. First run that he had. And then Phil, the story about Phil brings Michael in and he says, hey, Michael, I want you to meet Kobe. And Kobe says, I beat you one-on-one if we played one-on-one, right? That exchange. And then Kobe eventually, you can tell him and Pau became best of buddies, brothers, family. You see Pau with Vanessa, with family. It's emotional, all of that stuff. Wow. That's hard to believe, Scottie. Would you say he was such a... Oh, man, that's... Because sometimes when a guy is such an alpha at the highest level, the idea sometimes to lead your guys is be close enough to influence, but far enough to not make them too comfortable with you. The Prince Machiavelli talks about that. A lot of leaders talk about that, and it doesn't make sense to the average. It's kind of like, what are you talking about? Is go build a relationship, go build a bond, et cetera, et cetera. Some guys go that route. I wonder how much of that was more from his analysis of, listen, I'm above, I'm the leader, I'm the head guy here, and he didn't want to get too close to his guys. Especially if you're saying you guys never had dinner together, Scottie?
No.
And you never golfed because you weren't a golfer?
Are
you a decent golfer?
I think a little bit of both. I'm decent,
Okay.
but I didn't really care for the game much when I played.
When season ended and it's off season, how often did you guys hang out in off season?
0.
Who was your guy? Was it more Horace? You and Horace? You and Dennis? You and
Probably
BJ
more
Armstrong
Horace when I
was-
was there. I was probably more Horace.
who was close to Michael on the team? Him and BJ were close. I mean, when he came back to that one practice when BJ and him speaking and saying, hey, come and shoot a little bit.
I don't know about that one, but if you say so.
Well, no, listen, if I'm saying it, I'm just saying it because
Yeah,
I read about it. I don't know if I have the credibility of having been there. I just read about it.
Yeah. I mean, there were times when guys that were brought in that kind of bonded with Michael, Sam Vinson, Darrell Walker, but those were veteran players that had been around.
So you heard what Scottie Pippen had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? I have a few emotions. The first one is shock. Right? I'm still shocked. Right? I'm still shocked. I'm as shocked as the moment when Patrick David asked Scottie Pippen during the interview, "Who's your favorite teammate of all time?" Best teammate, and he gave it to Michael Jordan. Patrick David looked at him like, "Really?" And paused. The reason Patrick David had that reaction was because of all of the stuff that has happened ever since The Last Dance. We have that. We have the part where Scottie revealed how his kids were turned off watching The Last Dance docuseries. We have the part where Scottie Pippen revealed he didn't even watch all of the docuseries. He stopped at episode 7. He didn't even make it all the way to the end. He revealed that. He revealed the fact that him and MJ were never friends. And to me, it's so surprising because you look at the success that these guys were able to have over the time frame that they were able to have to build that dynasty. Arguably the most memorable dynasty in American sports history. And to find out that these guys were never close is really, really surprising to me. It really, really is. But then it really unlocks so much of the confusion that a lot of us had as to why Scottie was saying the things that he was saying about MJ. Because I didn't know this. I was just looking at the situation from the outside looking in. But when you find out that these guys were never really mates, never good friends, it's surprising. Patrick David brought up the example of when Magic Johnson and Isaiah Thomas made peace. He brought up the example of when Shaq and Kobe made peace, trying to see if there could be a scenario in which him and MJ could make peace. But it seems to me that Scottie respects what they were able to accomplish, although there is some resentment there. But he's no longer kind of playing the part of, the good soldier and trying to put on a brave face for the public because the public may feel this thing and may feel another thing. So therefore, I just want to put. He's like, no, I'm just going to let my hair down and tell you exactly what the reality is. As you see, I'm shooting this video as I'm talking. I'm thinking. I'm not even looking at the camera. I'm processing it like the rest of you. I'm processing all of this like the rest of you guys that watched it. It's really, really surprising, but look, that's life. That's life. Sometimes things don't end the way we want them to end based off of the nostalgia and all of the memories that we have about a particular thing. And I got to be honest with you, I think the people that are feeling this the most were the Chicago Bulls fans that were along for that ride. I think they're the ones that feel this the most. They're the ones that feel this the most. It's just surprising that they were able to have the success that they had with 2 3-peats and all of that when the 2 best players on the team weren't necessarily friends to that level. It's surprising. There could be more to it. Maybe this is Scottie speaking from his standpoint. I don't think we'll ever get to hear Michael Jordan speak from his. But nevertheless, it's quite jarring to hear all of this. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan's relationship now after hearing this? And what do you think about what they were able to accomplish given the fact that there was this underlying friction that seemed to be there? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you guys on the next show.